Hello, how you doing? I'm Chris Sinacori. I'm the pitching coach here at Arizona State University. What we're going to talk today about on this video is pitching mechanics and how mechanics work for you as a pitcher. Okay, the first thing I want every pitcher to remember is every single pitcher, whether you're high school, college, minor league, big league, okay, every single pitcher is different. And what I mean by different is we have our core. We have a core basis of delivery or mechanics, okay? I'm gonna use both words today. I'm gonna use mechanics because that's the actual thing we do, and I'm gonna use delivery because in a sense, everything that we do is part of our pitching delivery to the plate. So each pitcher is different, but we have a certain core that we follow. Core would be, okay, every pitcher gets to a balance point, okay? No matter what level you're at, a solid balance point is the core we want to be at. Okay, staying closed on our front side, which I'm going to explain all these things coming up, but those are two things that are totally core. Getting full extension out front and finishing our pitch, that's also a core movement. Now, everything that kind of goes in between is a pitcher's flair. That's what makes you as a pitcher a little bit different than the other, okay? So the first question I want to ask you is, why are mechanics so important? What can mechanics do for me as a pitcher? Okay, why are they important? There's three things why mechanics are important. There's one thing is, hey, if I have a great delivery to the plate and all my parts are working in unison, I'm gonna have a better chance of throwing the ball where I want to. And for pitching, that is the number one thing we try to do. No matter what level I'm at, command is number one. So in my pitching delivery, I wanna be able to throw the ball where I want to. That's number one. So a clean, solid delivery is gonna be able to let me throw the ball where I want to more often. The second thing that a clean, solid delivery is gonna give you is a better chance of throwing a little bit more velocity than we're used to. Okay, a lot of times, let's say I'm a pitcher that throws 85 miles an hour, but my delivery is a little bit off. I might be able to get that velocity up to 87, 88 with a clean delivery or more. Okay, there's no telling how much velocity I'm gonna be able to get with a little better delivery. Okay, it could be something in my lower half, could be something in my top half, we don't know. But once we fix these things, it's gonna allow you to have freedom and extension and get out there and throw with a little bit more velocity. And the third thing is a clean delivery is gonna give me less chance of having an injury, okay? It doesn't mean that, hey, great delivery is never gonna get hurt. No, of course that does happen sometimes. But if I have a clean delivery, it's gonna limit my chances of hurting myself. So those three things, command, velocity, and a little decrease in chance of injury, those are three things that a great delivery can give me. Well, you know what? I'm gonna really work at getting towards a great delivery. The number one basis of a delivery is, hey, I need to repeat my delivery as much as possible. Now, what repeating a delivery means is, hey, as a pitcher, I go through my mechanics, okay? Can I do the same thing twice in a row? Can I do the same thing 3 times in a row? That's where quality pitchers are born, is because, hey, if I can repeat a pitch, boom, I throw a great fastball away on the black, 1 inch off. Okay, now, as a pitcher, can I repeat that pitch? Okay, whether I'm in Little League, high school, or college, whatever level you're at, hey, being able to repeat a quality pitch over and over is gonna be the success of a pitcher. So my delivery is gonna warrant me having that success back-to-back pitches, or like we like to call it tripling up, doubling up or tripling up a certain pitch. Well, my delivery is gonna enable me to do that a little bit better. Okay, I like to relate all this mechanic stuff that I'm talking about to actually when I go on the road and I go recruit a kid. Okay, so I go to a high school game or I go to a junior college game and I'm actually recruiting a kid to come to Arizona State. So what I wanna look for is, hey, I want to see a kid able to, of course, he's got to have good stuff, and we're talking about command. If he didn't have command or good stuff, you know, Arizona State or other schools of that caliber wouldn't be there. So he's already doing something correct. Now the next level is, hey, can he repeat his delivery? That's something that I'm looking for when I go and recruit a kid. If he can repeat his delivery back to back, or like we talked about tripling up, or, you know, hey, every 5 out of 6 pitches, this kid has a great delivery, that tells me that he's gonna be successful. No matter what he's trying to do, he's gonna have a better chance of being successful because he can repeat his delivery. So from a recruiting standpoint, that is definitely something that I look for when I go out and watch a kid. So how do we get to that point, guys? We have to work, we have to practice, and we have to know what we're practicing. And let's go, we're gonna start it right now and show you exactly what we do and how we do it. Okay, we're gonna talk about now is full windup. And I'm gonna take you step by step through an entire delivery, and I'm gonna really show you what we're trying to accomplish all the way through, from our first movement till we deliver the ball at the plate. All right, so first, full windup. A pitcher takes his sign. Now there's a bunch of different ways that I can take my sign. I can go here, some guys like here, some guys, it's different kind of presence that we have on a mound. So whether I'm a right-hander or a left-hander, I can either be squared up, or some guys like to be a little bit on the side. Either one is correct, okay? What I wanna try to accomplish in this first movement, it's called a starter or a rocker step, is I don't wanna have too much movement in my delivery. Okay, and there's two ways we can go. We can go over the head, or some guys like to keep their hands right in front of them right here. Either one is correct. For me, I love when guys go over the head. It's just a sense of I'm making myself a little bit bigger. Okay, it's like a confidence move. I lower my head, I look down as I step into the rubber. These are all positive things. Okay, all my movements are positive. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how we have a rocker step in the two different ways, and why I think one way is a little bit better than the other. Number one, as I go back, whether I'm going over my head or I'm keeping my hands here, some guys step straight back. For me, it's a little difficult to make my turn into the rubber when I go straight back. I'm here, I make my turn to the rubber to get to my balance point. Okay, so we're talking about if I step straight back, coming right into this way. I would almost rather a little bit step to the side right here. And the reason why is as I move, as long as my head's not moving a lot, I'm gonna try to keep my head still. But I feel like as a pitcher, if I move to the side, I have a better chance of stepping into where I want to as I go to my balance point. One of the biggest things that kids do is as they step into the rubber, and when I say kids, I mean high school, college, it doesn't matter. Minor leaguers, all of them, sometimes we get a little bit, our foot gets too turned. When you step into the rubber, I wanna feel like, hey, I got a great solid base to go into my balance point on. I don't want to be turned, because if I turn here, then as I go to my balance, my shoulders are turned. So now as I work back towards the plate, I got things going on working around the ball that I really don't want to. So I want to really try to step into the rubber, right, boom, straight as I go into my balance point. Okay, so we come up, so we're talking about being a slant. As I come up to my balance point, looking my head down, okay, so I'm gonna take my eyes off the target for that split second. Boom, I'm gonna feel my foot get right into the rubber as I pick up the plate to come to balance point. That's a move that so many of us don't do correctly, but it's so imperative to our delivery, because that's the start of getting into my balance point. If I don't have a solid base to move into my balance point, which is really the starter of a great delivery, then how am I going to have great balance right from the start? So we're gonna get into the balance point. Now, a lot of kids ask me, how high should I be lifting my leg? It's kind of preference, but I do, out of the full windup, I want you to have a nice, aggressive high leg kick, okay? There's no time on it. In the stretch, we talk about being quick to the plate, but in the full windup, there's no time. So let's get a good, solid balance point, and I want you to be above your hip. You can be anywhere above your hip, up to your chest, up to, I like to say, hey, knee to wrist. Let's try to get your knee right to your wrist. So with my balance point, a lot of things are happening right here. Now, where should my weight be? Should my weight be on my heels? No. Should I be too forward? No, of course not. I want to feel like my weight is on the ball of my foot here, and it's evenly distributed. Okay, I'm right here on my balance point. Now, one thing I want you to remember is look how tall my back side is here. A lot of times when we get to balance, kids actually lift their leg and they sit at the same time. We don't want to do that. We want to be tall and powerful to the start of our delivery. So we call it a tall back side. Now, that doesn't mean we're locking out our leg. No, it's just an athletic leg, and we're tall on our backside to our balance point. Now what that does is, this is the beginning of when I ride to the dish, okay? Ride to home plate. So I want to ride to home plate with a tall backside, because I'm going to try to stay tall in my entire delivery. That's what's going to enable me to get a downward angle. If I sit or sink as a pitcher, I have more likely to get underneath the ball and push. So I want to stay tall and develop angle. Okay, so we talked about, hey, our rocker step into our balance point, a straight foot to solid balance point, okay, knee above waist, solid balance. Now, tall backside. Now, our next movement as a pitcher is called separation. This is where my hands start to separate, okay? And all the terms I use with my pitchers are always gonna be the same. We're not ever changing terms. So there are different terms for this stuff. What we're gonna use is, hey, separation is the term that we use. Now, we wanna separate our hands over my knee before I start going to the plate. What happens is, a lot of times we get to our balance point and we're already drifting to the target. So what happens is my separation sometimes becomes a little bit late. For us to have separation that separates on time over our knee to allow us to get our hand up on time, I have to do it over the rubber. So we talk about separation over my knee as I start going down. Okay, right here, this is called separation. Now, as my hands separate, this is where I start getting my momentum to the plate. I don't want to push off the rubber. Okay, you don't want to have that feeling of pushing. I want to ride out a powerful backside to the plate. A powerful backside with a closed front side as I ride to home plate. I don't want to push. If I push, guess what gets left behind? Okay, my arm's going to be likely to drag. I don't want to do that. Okay, so pitching is a violent act. Remember, pitching is something that we do violently, but I want to be under control. I want to be under control and I want to boom, finish. So it is a violent act, but I don't want to push to the target. That's not a good thing. Okay, I want to ride out a closed front side, which I'll get to in a second, and we're going to ride to the plate. So we have balance, we have our separation, okay, and we're going to start to ride my tall backside to the plate. And this is where we start to get closed, okay? We get this way as I ride to the target. Okay, so when we talk about a closed front side, there's 4 points for me. Ankle, knee, hip, shoulder. If all 4 of these points, 1, 2, 3, 4, if all 4 of these points are closed as I ride to home plate, okay, that's where I want to be. So that's called a closed front side. And I'm going to stay closed until really I land, and then boom, my backside comes through. Okay, so concentrating on a closed front side, I'm in my balance point. I have my separation over the rubber. Now I'm going to start riding to the dish with a closed front side. So watch my 4 points as I go to the plate. Okay, balance, I'm separating, and now I'm starting to ride to the home plate. Now look, all 4 points, boom, boom, boom. Now this is where my arm starts coming up, and that's going to be a ticket to my success, because as I get up and I'm on time, as I reach my maximum, boom, my arm slot, and my foot lands, that's where I'm going to be able to really get great extension out front. Okay, so just to review real quick, we talk about balance, and we talk about our rocker step or our starter. Okay, we go into our balance point. Boom, balance, knee to wrist. Now, as I go tall back side, separating over the rubber as I ride my closed front side to the target. Boom, okay, and that's where a lot of drills that people do is we start here, right? My direction's gotta be straight, I'm toe to toe, right? My foot's a little bit closed. You don't wanna practice these drills with a closed foot, because that's not what you do on the mound. I land, some guys land a little straight, some guys land a little bit closed. That's probably the #1 thing to land right there, is a little bit closed on the front side. But for the most part, we want to try to have straight direction to the plate. Some guys are a little bit closed, which is okay. Very rarely do I want to be open, okay? Lefties are more inclined to be a little bit closed, which is totally okay. So, but for now, we're gonna practice, hey, let's be straight direction to the target. So when I land, that's kind of the position I want to be in. So a lot of times we practice drills, this is where we practice them. So this position is actually a great position. My weight is back, my direction is straight, I have a closed front side. And as you can see, even when I'm landing, I'm still kind of closed. My front knee hasn't opened yet. My hip's closed, I'm still in a good closed position with my weight back as I'm up. And this is where, hey, this is where now my top half comes into play. I can do one of 2 things. I can either work this way around the ball, which is called side to side, which I don't want to do, or I can work this way through the ball, which this is called back to front. All my movements are working up, down, back to front. That's where I'm maximizing all my energy to home plate. I never want to work around the ball, kick out. I don't want anything going this way. Okay, we call it like east-west or side to side. I want everything going up, down, north, south, okay? That's my top half working back to front, not around the ball side to side. Okay, now this is an unbelievable important part of our delivery, because what I do, this dictates how my finish is, okay? If I'm gonna throw a ball outside, if I'm a right-handed pitcher, I'm gonna throw the ball away to a right-handed pitcher, I gotta get extension, I gotta get out there. So I have a better chance of really locating my fastball if my top half is working this way to the target compared to if I'm working side to side or around the ball, okay, there. Does that make sense? Okay, so I want to be back to front with my top half. And hopefully you can really see this on camera, how my shoulders work this way to the target, not this way. So my front arm controls a lot. I'm going to go towards the hitter. It's up for a little bit of deception. Now I'm going to work this way. I'm pulling myself here to the target. I don't want to get here and work this way around the baseball. If I work around the ball, it does a lot of bad things. It doesn't make my sink as sharp. It doesn't make my breaking ball as sharp. My changeup's a little bit flatter. Think about it. If I can get over my fastball or my 2-seam fastball to make it sink, I'm getting over it. That's going to help to, help depth on it. If I get over my breaking ball out front, that's going to really give me a lot more spin. Or my changeup, hey, I'm getting over my changeup out front. That's going to maximize my movement of it. Okay, so let's just review real quick. We talked about our starter step, okay, or our rocker step. I don't want to have my head to move too much. I want a little step to the side as my foot gets into the rubber square. Okay, now I come to my balance point. I want knee to wrist. Okay, I want a good aggressive leg kick, tall back side. Now I'm going to ride a tall back side to home plate with a closed front side. okay? I do not want to collapse my back leg to go to the dish. I want to feel myself stay big and tall as I ride my front side to home plate. Now, as I start to get to my land and my hands up, I want to feel myself go back to front to the plate. I do not want to work around it. And then lastly, I'm finishing. If I'm back to front with my top half, I'm finishing out front over a stiff front leg, boom. And that's where I'm really going to create my velocity. I'm just throwing against a solid front side. Okay, one thing I want to talk about as we're doing this whole delivery, and I haven't mentioned yet, is your head. If you notice that as I go through my whole delivery, my head pretty much stays straight and on target. I don't want to pull it off. I don't want to drop it. Okay, my head stays still. Okay, so there it is. I started from my rocker step, a little bit of movement, my balance, close front side, top half back to front, as my head's right on the target, my eyes are right where I want them to be, boom, as I finish. That's full windup. Now what I want to do is I want to actually demonstrate with one of my pitchers here. This is Jeff. And what we're going to do is, remember in the beginning of the video I talked about, hey, every pitcher's got that core, but every pitcher also has flair. And a couple of names that come to mind to me is, Kevin Brown. He has that little turn over the rubber, or Dontrelle Willis from the Marlins, he has that turn. But one thing that all those guys do is they do have balance, they do have a closed front side as they go. So somewhere in their delivery, they're doing things correct, even though they have their own flair to it. Okay, so Jeff here, he's gonna do his delivery, which is gonna be similar to mine, okay? But he also has little things that are different because every single pitcher is different in certain ways. But he will have a tall backside, he will be a good balance point. He has a very good closed front side as he goes to the dish, and we'll see if his top half works back to front. That's something we're working on. Outstanding, really good. Do it again. Whew. Okay, so that was actually outstanding. Okay, what Jeff got was he got good rhythm. Okay, it wasn't too slow, wasn't too fast. He had good rhythm, he had great balance, and he rode a tall, closed front side, tall backside, closed front side, right to the target, and his top half really worked well back to front as he finished. So every part of his delivery, from his rhythm to his balance to being closed to his finish, were really good. Now that is going to enable him to really have good command. No matter what pitch he throws, that's the core I'm talking about. The balance, the closed, okay? Going to the target, he's not pushing, everything seems to be on time. Now that doesn't just happen, guys. This is hours upon hours of working on delivery, okay? This is things that we do weekly, okay? Every single week we work on delivery as a pitching staff, okay? Probably individually, 2 to 3 times a week, plus playing catch, bullpens, all the things that we do according to how we get delivery where we want to do. So if we have solid delivery, it's going to automatically translate into command every single time. Okay, so we finished with the full windup. Now what I want to do is I want to get into the stretch. All right, so now all the same principles apply in the stretch. We're doing a lot of the same things, except we're just really abbreviating our lower half, okay? So watch, I'm gonna come set. And the reason why I'm in the middle of the rubber is some guys like to be on the left side of the rubber. Some guys like to be all the way on the right side of the rubber. What happens is pitchers move on the rubber according to the stuff they have. Okay, if I'm a really good sinker ball guy, okay, if I'm a sinker slider guy, if I'm a right-hander, I'm more entitled to be on this side so I have room for my sinker to really sink on the plate. So don't be too concerned right now of where you are on the rubber. For now, I'm just gonna stay in the center just as I demonstrate these drills. Okay, so in the stretch, I get my sign. Okay, obviously if I'm in the stretch, there's runners on base. What the only difference in the stretch and the full windup is, a lot of pitchers feel like, oh, I have so much more power out of the full windup than I do out of the stretch. Well, there shouldn't be, okay? We gotta get to the point where you're so comfortable in the stretch that it's the same. Okay, if you're a pitcher that has a huge decrease in the stretch as far as velocity goes, then you're doing something wrong. You're not creating enough rhythm or enough fire to the plate. So we gotta get to the point where we can still maintain tall, closed, powerful delivery to the plate, even from the stretch, okay? Now, if you wanna know a great stretch delivery, and I love to bring it up, it's Curt Schilling's. Okay, Curt Schilling from the stretch is quick to the plate, but he maintains his power throughout his whole delivery, and it's really outstanding. So if you want to watch somebody on TV that has a great one, you can zone in on him. That's a good one. Okay, so we're in a stretch. We come set. Every pitcher comes set different. Some guys come set high, some guys come set low, some guys come set right here. It's all according to delivery. That's not talking about your different flair, okay? What you do, that's okay. But we're talking about the next part of it that's important. Okay, so as we come set here, All the same rules apply, guys. As I break to the home plate, I want to have a closed front side, a tall back side. I don't want to dip to go to the plate from the stretch. Now remember, I'm going to try to be quicker to the plate because there's runners on base, so I can't afford to have a nice high leg kick. I need to abbreviate it, okay, shorten it up. And I call it here quick break. We're breaking our hands a little bit quicker than normal because my leg break is a little faster. So we call it quick break. This is what we do here. We come set. Now it's important to have a little bit of a wide base. Okay, if you notice in the stretch, if I'm here, my base is probably about 1.5 feet. I don't want to be too wide, okay, but I also don't want to be too close because I don't have too much room to maneuver. Okay, I want to have a good solid base to where if I'm trying to be quick to the plate here, boom, okay, now I have a good solid wide base. Now I can easily lift and close my leg a little bit because we're going to get that whole front side closed, right? It's real important. I just don't want to whip open and go. I want to have a closed front side as I go to the target. So watch, I'm here, nice wide base. Now I'm going to maintain my tall back side as I lift to go to the target. I'm going to close my knee and go. Okay, we like to use the expression knee inside a foot. Because if you think about it, I'll do it from the side here. As I go towards the target, my knee stays inside my foot the entire time. Watch. You see that? My knee is inside of my foot as I ride to the plate. It's a real important factor of deliveries. Something I didn't mention before, okay? So I come set. I got a pretty wide base. I'm solid. I have great balance. My distribution of weight isn't on my front side, okay? It's got to be on my back side. Say, I like to say 80-20, okay? So when I come set, boom, my weight is over my back side here. This is going to allow me to have great balance. So I don't want to be here. Okay, even 50-50 I'm not too crazy about, but a lot of guys are on the front side. And what happens if I come set on my front side, as I balance, watch what happens. I just fall. I'm not getting great power to the plate. I want to be on my backside here. So now when I lift, all my weight's still on my backside as I ride to the plate. Okay, so I'm going to have a closed front side as I ride to the dish, and this is where my weight stays back. And I didn't mention it before in the full windup, but I want to touch base on it because it's extremely important, is as I go, my lower half is going to lead me to the target, guys. My lower half leads me, not my top half. Watch, I come set. As I get to my balance, my lower half leads me. That gives me that power angle that we talk about. Okay, a pitcher, as he goes rise to the plate, and Clemens, if you look at almost every pitcher of Clemens in magazines and books and newspapers, he has that great power angle. His body actually has a slant from his head right down his body to almost where he lands. Okay, that's called a power angle. We want to try to achieve that, and we can achieve it even in the stretch. Sometimes we feel, oh, full windup, I can really achieve my power. Well, we can still achieve it in the stretch, guys. So we're right here. Okay, I want a short, quick little leg kick, a closed front side as I ride. And I still create that weight back. My head is slightly behind my belly button as I ride to the plate, okay? So it sounds easy, hard. Once again, we gotta work on this, all right? So I have balance, I ride to the plate with a closed front side, and my head is slightly behind. Now, once I feel my hand get up, boom, that's where I fire to the plate, and that's that violent act I was talking about. I'm balanced, smooth, bang. Okay, I'm aggressive to the target. I wanna throw the ball here. Okay, even if I'm a command guy, I'm still going after the target very aggressively, all right? So, from the stretch, we talked about coming set, being comfortable. Weight 80-20, fairly wide base. As I lift, a little shorter leg kick, I'm gonna ride quicker to the plate with a closed front side. My top half is still gonna work this way, guys. What happens is if I come set too forward and my leg kick goes here, what a pitcher does, he tends to go around the ball. We don't wanna do that. We wanna stay tall, balanced, closed, top half, back to front. Okay, that's how we want to achieve. If you notice, every time I do a delivery, my glove kind of is in this area. Very rarely don't want to flare it out. I want to try to keep it as composed, locked in here as I can. That's proper, okay? So, once again, from the stretch, I come set, closed, tall, boom, back to front with my top half as I finish out front. And my direction's got to be straight as I ride to the plate with my weight a little bit back. Okay, so what we're going to do here is Jeff's going to go through his quick break to the plate, okay? Okay, come set. Outstanding. Do one more time. Okay, great. So I really like both those deliveries. Now, I want to point out a couple things. Come set. Now, He's in a comfortable position. His weight is back. His hands are right where they want to be. Even though different pitchers can have different slots, he likes to be right here. Perfect. Okay, he's got a nice wide base. And as you notice, what he's going to do is when he lifts his leg, he's going to close his front knee a little bit. Okay, so then we talked about his knee being inside his foot as he rode to the plate. That's perfect. So he's going to lift his leg, bang, and that's outstanding front knee. Now, what most of us do, what most pitchers do is they lift and they swing. We don't want to do that. We want to lift and ride that closed front side. We don't want to lift and swing open, okay? Like they call swinging the gate, or there's other terminology for it. But hey, I want to close as I ride to the plate. And Jeff does a great job of that. All 4 points, ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, as he rides to the plate. Now watch where his weight stays. His weight stays back behind his belly button as his lower half leads him. Outstanding. Woo, perfect. Okay, so now I just want you to watch as he rides to the plate, how his weight stays back. Excellent. Okay, so let's just review real quick in the full windup. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna go through one just to lock it in one more time, and then we're gonna go over and do some drills. The drills that we do here at Arizona State to really feel ourselves get polished in our delivery, okay? And the stuff that we mentioned before we do quite often, but we'll get into drills in a second. Let me just run through it one more time. All right, first, we have the rocker step, okay? Remember, as I get my sign, anything's okay. Whichever move I am, I just wanna be comfortable, and I wanna have a little presence about me. Now, as I go, I'm gonna either go over my head or stay here. I'm gonna go over my head, and I wanna make sure my head doesn't move that much. I'm gonna have a good solid step into the rubber, okay, as I get to my balance point, right, knee to wrist. Now, I'm gonna separate over the rubber as I ride a closed front side to the target with a tall backside. Boom, closed front side. I want my top half to work back to front. My direction is straight over a stiff front leg. Boom, I'm getting out there. That's full windup. And to review the stretch real quick, we come set, wide base, tall backside. I'm comfortable. Quick aggressive step with my knee inside my foot with my weight back as I ride to the plate. Bang. All right, now we're going to talk about some of the that we at Arizona State that really get us to where we want to be. Okay, and this is something. The first thing is we call them rotation drills. Now, after my pitchers, we start to play. What we do is at the end of our catch, something called rotation drills, where 2 guys partner up, use a home plate, and we go through our delivery, full windup and stretch, and a couple different drills that we do, which I'll show you in a second, to really help. And I like to call it touch and feel. I'm working from about 50 feet, going max effort. I'm just feeling my delivery. I'm working on the ball. I'm concentrating on little things like my head or my eyes on target. Okay, so by really this every day, just this every day, there's no reason why I can't my delivery. Whatever that might be, I'm going to make it so, hey, I am using my best performance through my delivery. Okay, I'm going to get the most out of my pitches. My delivery is going to work together, and that comes from the daily work. So now what I want to demonstrate is exactly how we do rotation, the different steps that we go through. Okay, now, in the rotation drills, there's a couple different phases which we really. Okay, one of them is our wide base. Okay, if you notice, I want to have my solid back foot, which earlier we talked about being square. I want to have a square back foot, and I want a nice wide base, which is almost my stride length if I was pitching, okay? And I want to have my direction line straight to the target, okay? And I want to have a little bit of a closed front foot, okay? That's a solid wide base position. I'm strong on my back leg, and I'm not collapsed, okay? I'm nice and tall on my delivery, because this is really the position of my leg as I ride to the dish, all right? As I use my legs to power myself there. So what I want to do is I like to start actually with my hands together right here. So it's like a little bit of a gathering point. Now from this position right here, I'm going to rock onto my backside, okay, but I'm going to maintain a fairly tall backside. I don't want to rock and collapse. That's wrong, because I don't want to feel myself do this. I want to feel myself rock and get a little bit momentum, but have a tall backside, okay? So basically we're going to start right here, and you're going to see me rock back to my backside and then throw. And actually I'm going to have Jeff demonstrate this right here. But he's going to start from this position right here. He's going to rock to the backside, separate, and go. And he's going to work his top half back to front. That's the first thing he's going to do. Now we'll do some of those. Next thing I want to do is something called low balance, where we come set. I actually want to feel, remember, 80-20. I want to feel myself a low balance position right here. Okay, now I'm going to go from low to high to there, okay? And I watch the different steps I do. I'm solid in my setup. I'm balanced here. I'm balanced here. Now I'm gonna have my knee inside my foot as I ride to the target and work my way up and out over with the back to front top side, okay? So, one thing, I'm solid foot, wide base, toe, right here, wrist back, top half back to front with my good solid finish, and release this backside. Number two, I'm here, low balance,